Hello, we just got back from a dream vacation. It was a absolutely amazing vacation. We just got back from an all-inclusive resort vacation at the Excellence El Carmen in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. It was Jamie and I, and then another couple that went, Des and Paul. And if you guys haven't seen, I've done a couple of vlogs of the trip. I did a room tour. I did a full vacation vlog. I did a what did we spend before the vacation vlog as well. And now I'm doing a cost breakdown. This was a much requested video. I also have a blog post for you guys as well, but breaking down the cost. Now, this is a vacation that was a little bit on the higher end. It wasn't all inclusive, so food and drinks were all included, but it wasn't our most expensive vacation. I think by far our most expensive vacation was our Alaskan cruise, which I did a full cost breakdown of that. If you guys want to check that out, that was one that we did a couple years ago when we bought this house, actually like 2 years ago exactly right now. So this was a super fun trip and we had an absolute blast. It was so relaxing. It was just a perfect vacation and we absolutely loved it. So full breakdown. And we splurged on some items. Some of the things I think were totally worth it and some were not. So I'm going to go over all of that with you. First thing, before even getting on the trip, we had some drama with Jamie's passport. If you guys watched our vlog of what we spent, we had to get Jamie's passport renewed. It had expired last year, which we didn't realize because it was 2020 and we weren't traveling. Then we booked this trip and was going in 3 weeks. We booked it pretty last minute, which is like, hey, let's do it. And then we realized that Jamie's passport was expired. So we had to expedite it. And he actually had to build a bot to get a appointment for a renewal passport. Had to fly to New Orleans, had to pay for a hotel, flight, all of that. So that was an added expense. So that expense was an additional $534.20 for a passport renewal that we did not expect, but it is what it is. And now with my passport, I think it renews in 2 years. So we're going to make sure that we take care of that next year so that we don't have to worry about this again. Next up is flights. Now, flights, we could have gone the miles perspective and done that. Not the miles perspective, but we could have used our miles and gone and saved a lot of money using miles. But we decided to get direct flights. We live in South Florida, which this is a huge pro of us cruising, not to Alaska, but when we go on Caribbean cruises, is we live in South Florida, so we can drive right down the port of Fort Lauderdale. We can drive right down to the port of Miami, and no problem, we don't have to pay for flights. This we had to pay for flights, and we decided we wanted just direct flights. We realized that we would get almost an extra day at the resort by doing direct than having to go up to Atlanta and then going down. So going all the way up to Atlanta, then all the way down to the DR, of just going right to the DR. So we went with Spirit, which I cannot believe we went with Spirit. It was not the most pleasant experience, but Spirit is Spirit. We always joke that Spirit is like the Carnival of the sea or Carnival of the air. We don't take Carnival cruises. We're bougie with the Royal Caribbean and Spirit Airlines. It's such a hassle. It's poor quality, poor service. You're like, I'm 5'5" and my knees were like hitting the back of the seat. Like, I'm not a tall person. The tray table is like this big, which you can't even fit a laptop on. It was just a joke. So we ended up going with this. We did have flights that we could have taken with Delta, which would have been practically free. I think it would have been like $12 for us to use our Delta points, but we would have had to go to Atlanta and it would have taken, it was an all-day affair. So we really wanted just to get there, and we ended up spending quite a bit on flights. It ended up costing us $949.66 to use our flights. So that is a pretty penny, but it is what it is. So that was flights. Next is tipping. Now tipping, we always go above and beyond with tipping. With all-inclusives, all of your food and drink is included. So alcohol, food, all the restaurants are included. They do have some upgrades like wines, different things like that, but we didn't do any of those upgrades. But every time that we ate at a restaurant, we tipped like $5, $1 for alcoholic drinks, $5 a day on a room attendant, all of that. Then one thing that we always do is we always find someone that just kind of goes above and beyond and really makes our trip memorable, that we really connect with. Without a doubt, every single time we go on a vacation, it happens with at least 1 or 2 people, and then we like to give them a nice bigger tip. So we ended up tipping this guy Junior, which we connected with him, and he was just amazing. He was so much fun. He really helped us out. One day Jamie wanted to go into town to go and ride bikes, or go into town to go like a little shopping of like the little souvenir stuff, and I wasn't feeling well, but him, Des, and Paul went, and he took him on a private bike tour. It was like a mile away, so he really went above and beyond, and so we ended up tipping him $100. So total for tips, we spent $206 in tips. So that was just US cash, and we're really happy that we were able to bless those people with those tips. Next is a super small purchase, but we had to get some razor blades, some just straight edge razor blades, because I ended up getting a really bad splinter. Actually, it wasn't really bad. It was just a splinter that really got in there, and it was very painful. And I tried to get it out with tweezers, but my tweezers weren't working. I even tried this like water bottle method where you fill it up with hot air and you try to like make a suction for it to come out. That did nothing. And after like 3 days of walking on, it was right on the ball of my foot. I was like, all right, we got to do something. So spent $4.13 to get this little razor blade, and Paul did some surgery and he was able to just cut it and get the splinter out. And then after that, it was pain-free. It was so nice. So $4 on a little razor blade to get my splinter out. Next is a private charter. Now, this was a bad experience. We were going to go deep sea fishing. We were so excited to go deep sea fishing. It was $500 for the 2 couples. So we were renting a 50-foot private boat charter. And I think back in its glory days, I think like maybe 30, 40 years ago, this was a nice yacht. But now that it's a little older, it was very dated. It had a bathroom that was not a bathroom. It had a bar, which was a cooler. It did have an indoor cabin where we could sit, but no AC. And it was a very nice, bigger boat. And so $500 for 2 couples for just the 4 of us, private charter. We were really excited, and I thought that was a great deal for $250. You cannot get that here in South Florida. That same thing would probably cost over $1,000, maybe $1,500. So we were so excited. But when we got out there, the seas were insane. It was 8 to 12 foot swells, and the boat was just like this the whole entire time. And at first I was fine, and then as we got going, I was getting very nauseous, and I don't get seasick. But they told us that we just have to get out into the middle of the ocean, like get out there. And then once we're in the middle of the ocean, then it'll calm down and it'll be bad coming back in. So I was like, okay, fine, no problem. Like we can get past this. 20 minutes in, it's still like this. And they're like, yeah, we're in the middle of the ocean and it's not going to get any better. And so I wasn't feeling well. My friend Desiree wasn't feeling well. She ended up throwing up. Then because she threw up, then her husband Paul threw up. And it was just a mess. And so we ended up canceling and going back in. But it was terrible seas. Like, it was blue skies, but had rained the day before. The day before, we remembered that it was red flag on the beach, which is, not safe for the waves. And so there was no other charters out there. So that should have been a red flag for us that there wasn't anything else going on in the water because it was too dangerous. So they honestly should have canceled our charter and not have charged us, but they did. So we tried to dispute it with them, and they said, nope, you booked it, sorry. And we should have gotten video, but we were just so distracted of not throwing up that when we got back to land, I am throwing up as well. But sorry for the TMI, but it really stinks because we were really looking forward to it, but the seas were just so bad that Des was like, I gotta go in. So I'm canceling that, but unfortunately we couldn't get our money back. So $250 for like an hour out in the water, and it should have been a 4-hour charter, which sucks. So it is what it is. Next is the resort. So this includes our room, our food, all of that. It's all built into the resort cost. And honestly, I was a little bummed about this because we splurged. Like, you know me, Miss Frugal. We splurged and got the one with the private pool. And I have a full vlog that I'll have for you guys. It'll be linked down below. A full vlog of the pool and the private pool that we had. And I was so excited. There was like chase lounges and all this stuff. I was like, ours can be the party room. It's 2 couples. We can hang out at ours and we can really relax. Well, we thought that this resort was going to be like a cruise where the main pool is just packed. You can't like packed. It wasn't the case. So we actually spent a lot of time at the main pool, and the main pool had drinks, had bingo, had fun. And so we ended up spending most of our time there. So we barely even spent any time at our private pool in our room. And so there was even one day where I was like, I want to spend the day at the pool in our room. Like we paid, it was $1,000 upgrade to get this. like at the time of you're doing it. So we booked the minimal one, and then it was like $30 a day more, $30 a day more, $30 a day more. And as you go up the tiers, and the next thing you know, you're at the private pool, and it's like $1,000 more. So I was like, I want to get our money's worth. So we were at our private pool one day, and after like 30 minutes, you could tell everyone was like, okay, this isn't as fun as the main one. They don't have drinks. They don't have the cabanas. Like, they don't have the games, all this stuff. No people watching. So then we went back to the main pool. But, so we splurged on the private pool suite, but it was what it is. And so the rest of it was all really good. So for the resort itself, we spent $2,126.26. So that was great there. And then last cost was airport food. So airport food, we got, I think, a muffin in the morning, muffin and water in the morning, and then coming back home, we got Wendy's. And at Wendy's, they had a Nutella Frosty. They don't have that at my Wendy's. It was amazing. So airport food was $35.60. So all in all, it was an amazing trip. It was amazing. The only things that I would change was I would not get the private pool suite. I would just get the regular one. All the rooms did have a jetted hot tub, jacuzzi inside the room, which was awesome. We use that almost every night. That was amazing. But the private pool, I would not have upgraded. So when you factor in that upgrade, and then you factor in the flights that we had to pay for that we normally wouldn't on a cruise, this was very comparable for a cruise. When we go cruising, we usually spend about $3,000 to $4,000. So for total for this trip, we spent a total of $4,105.85. So $4,100, including tip, airfare, the passport issue we didn't have. That was a big cost as well. So this would have been probably cheaper than a cruise. And I think that there was a lot of pros and cons of this. I feel like this didn't give you that, I don't know the wording, but with cruises, you get the same staff. You get the same waiters every night, the same room attendants, all of that, and you really get to know them and they get to know you. Like when we go on a cruise, they know that Jamie's going to get a Jack and Coke at dinner. When we go on a cruise, they know that I like this and they'll bring it out. They know this. They learn you. They learn your menu, and they learn how you are, and they learn your name, all that. You don't get that with this. Also, there was an issue of, I wouldn't really even call it issue, but it was a full new staff because of COVID. So we talked to Junior, the guy that I talked about earlier, and he said that they had to lay off so much staff because of COVID that now it's a full new staff, and a lot of them don't speak English. It was very hard to communicate with the waiters and waitresses. If we wanted to make one little tweak to the menu, the whole entire table's food was wrong. So we learned, don't make any changes to the menu. Like, don't say no onion or no this. Just get it how it is and pick it out or whatever. So we learned that it was a hard language barrier. But because of COVID as well, it was empty. It was absolutely empty. Like, there were days where we were walking along at like dusk, going to dinner. I was like, I feel like we're the only ones here. So it was really nice that it was a smaller, not as many guests as it normally wouldn't be in high season. So it was still an amazing trip. We had a blast. Don't forget to check out the vlog. So check out this one here for the full vlog that we bring you along on the vacation. And then check out this one, which is the room tour.